Yeah, hello and greetings. Aren't condiments great? Dressing up your favorite foods for an old trip down the esophagus. Mustard's my favorite. Honey mustard, spicy mustard, classic mustard. But you know what's even better than that? The 105-ounce expansion pack. Now I can enjoy mustard on my turkey burgers, like never before. Wow, look at the frame rate on this thing. Needs more mustard though. And do you want to know how I know the mustard expansion pack is superior? It didn't cost me $50. To really understand the Nintendo Switch Online service, we have to go all the way back to March 2017. A simpler time when all we had was Breath of the Wild and Just Dance 2017. And to think we could have had DDR as a launch title if Konami wasn't too busy scrubbing Kojima's name off of Metal Gear games. Who made this again? Online play on the Switch was completely free at launch, so when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out a few months later, you could finally race with your friends like it was 2014 on the Wii U. But just you wait, we're gonna make you pay for it. The Nintendo Switch paid online subscription service would come out, eventually, in 2018. The Nintendo Switch Online service finally launched on September 18th, 2018 in North America and September 19th, 2018 in Europe and Japan. Priced at $4 for 1 month, $8 for 3 months, and $20 for 12 months. You could finally play online games to your heart's content, use cloud save, and gain access to 20 NES games. I swear to God if Super Mario Bros. 2 isn't on here. Day 1 subscribers could play soccer, tennis, Donkey Kong, Mario Bros, Super Mario Bros, Balloon Fight, Ice Climber, Dr. Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. 3, Double Dragon, River City Ransom, Ghosts and Goblins, Tecmo Bowl, Gradius, Pro Wrestling, Excitebike, Yoshi, Ice Hockey, and Baseball. Looks like I'm selling my Switch now. Jumping forward a bit and via a Nintendo Direct on September 4th, 2019, it was announced that Super NES games were coming to the online service. Just like the NES app, it would launch with 20 titles: Kirby's Dream Land 3, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Star Fox, F-Zero, Pilot Wings, Kirby's Dream Course, Brawl Brothers, Breath of Fire, Demon's Crest, Joan Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics, Super EDF Earth Defense Force, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Puyo Puyo 2, available for the first time in North America, Super Soccer, and Super Tennis. And this moves little by little after this, slowly adding new games to the NES and Super NES applications. As of July 18th, 2021, there were 88 games available on the NES app and 56 on the Super NES app. For $20 a year, that's not too bad. It's significantly cheaper than the subscriptions that Sony and Microsoft offer. But at the same time, it's really not all that exciting either. While Nintendo was making the service a lot more affordable than the competitors, it was leaving so many past generations of consoles left to the dust. Sony's PlayStation Now app allowed players to access older titles, and Microsoft made them readily available in their Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions. For a while, rumors were floating that Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance titles were coming to the Switch online service in fall of 2021. It made sense because the then upcoming Metroid Dread was a direct sequel to Metroid Fusion, a game on the Game Boy Advance. It was going to be the first original side-scrolling Metroid game in nearly 20 years. They betrayed us all. Things finally started heating up when they tweeted about Metroid Fusion in July of 2021. People were getting excited about the chance of playing this classic title before its sequel released in October. Oh boy, I can't wait to play this on my Switch! And this is why I kept my copy of Digimon the movie on DVD. The launch of Metroid Dread came and went with no announcement of any expansion to the Nintendo Switch Online service. Things got quiet. A little too quiet. Until on October 15th, Nintendo officially announced the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. For $50, you get 9 Nintendo 64 games, 15 Genesis and Mega Drive games, and the Animal Crossing New Horizons Happy Home Paradise DLC. Wow, $30 extra for DLC I won't play, 9 games that are as old as me, games I already own on the Genesis Mini. I'll take 10! Nintendo was even offering wireless Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis controllers for $50 a piece. Well, don't need these anymore. Responses to this new service tier was mixed. Because on one hand, these games are available to some people for the first time ever, but others, they'd rather just go play them on the original console, or just go back to their Wii U versions. So let's break this down. The Animal Crossing DLC is $25. The online subscription, the basic one, is $20, so combined that's $45. With the N64 and Genesis edition, should be $5. That would make the $50. So why not just make a middle price point of $25 for people who don't want to play Animal Crossing? Like me. $50 is a price point that would make sense if they offered games from NES, Super NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, N64, Nintendo GameCube, and Nintendo Wii. Something fans have been hoping Nintendo would do for years. Bring back the Virtual Console for Switch Online. That way people can have the option to jump into the classics or stroll in the eShop for new games. And yet here we are nearly 5 years later with very little options aside from Jelly Boy. It would make a lot more sense to go down that route, because they're already re-releasing every title known to God from the Wii U on the Switch, so why not give players an option to play Disaster Day of Crisis? Laughable and overpriced? Who's laughing now, Reggie? Ha! Who's laughing? Who's laughing now? The Nintendo 64 games have been criticized for input lag, which makes movement delayed, audio issues depending on the Wi-Fi service someone has, and there's no option to remap buttons in the game. So if you want to remap, you have to go into the console settings. Huh. It rerouted me to Google Maps. Rendering issues are noticeable in games like Ocarina of Time, where clearly the fog forgot to show up to work today. I'm sorry, but you're fired. You didn't show up to the water temple, and you didn't even have the decency to call out. We had a very important schedule and meeting with Silent Hill HD Collection. We're going to be redubbing Silent Hill 2. Can you believe it? Silent Hill 2! The outcry by fans of the poor emulation for N64 games on this service was so bad that even Doug Bowser had to address them. In an interview with Verge, he said, "We're constantly looking for ways to make our online features and those games better and continuing to add value through more services and more games as we go forward. We take the feedback very seriously, and we're continuing to look at ways to improve the overall performance. For us, it's about quality and great content at a great value." At least they're finally realizing that they might have bit off more than they can chew, and that this service really doesn't justify the price, and maybe we might actually get improvements or a price that makes sense at some point. The rumors about Game Boy and Game Boy Color editions to the online subscription service began to swirl again in November, but with the issues with the current titles, I don't see this happening anytime soon. People thought that things were never going to get better for Nintendo after the Wii U failed harder than Cyberpunk 2077. And they turned it around with the Nintendo Switch. But just because they've had a lot of success does not give them an excuse to treat their consumers like idiots. People want to play games at an affordable price and at a quality that justifies that price. And in its current state, it's hard to recommend. The Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack is a lot like PlayStation Plus, except $10 less, no game discounts, and no free games every month. Am I telling you to buy a PlayStation 5? No. Am I telling you that the Mustard expansion pack is worth the $4? Yes. And the best part is, it costs less than a month of Nintendo Switch Online.